Liverpool has been singled out. We appreciate that the rates are high. Obviously, something has to be done about it. I think where people are angry is where you're seeing, I mean, you just turn on the news and you see London with packed tubes, places like Soho and Peckham with huge crowds outside the tube stations after the curfew. And then you do have to think, well, if they're allowed to do that, surely the government must be thinking that they have to control that when all their focus seems to be on the Northwest and particularly Liverpool. As a student, I'm worried about life getting back to normal. On a personal basis, my university's closed. I'm having to work from home. It only closed 2 days ago. And they were, obviously, the government is saying they're trying to keep schools and universities open. I think Liverpool relies so heavily on independent restaurants and bars and pubs that it is really scary considering how many bar staff are going to be out of work.
The restrictions will close all pubs and bars, gyms, cinemas, I think. It's like being in the land of the living dead. There are so many restrictions on going out that people aren't. The government always seem to be lagging behind with their financial support. And so we have this week or two of intense anxiety about our viability. Our staff really worry about their jobs. We're a really strong, successful and financially viable business. But there's only so much that can be taken away before your whole future gets threatened. And that's a situation we're in now.
Liverpool has still got the scars of very high levels of unemployment from the 1980s, and there's a genuine concern now that the city may be slipping back into that type of deep recession. When you have another Conservative government that placed Liverpool into what's described as Tier 3, so the harshest of lockdown restrictions, whilst its neighbouring city of Manchester, it is placed in a Tier 2, so less restrictions, there is a feeling of discrimination. I think it's been increasingly difficult to follow what the government's guidelines are and what the end game is here. There's an awful lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and I think what you're going to see over the next month or so is a pushback. And I think civil disobedience, I'm not talking riots in the streets, I'm not talking about mass marches, but people simply ignoring the rules and the guidance because they don't make any sense anymore.